Alex Eubank's rise to fame is one of the most fascinating stories in the fitness influencer world. From his early days as a young, motivated lifter to becoming one of the most recognized faces in natural bodybuilding, his journey captured the attention of millions. He represented something rare in the fitness industry: authenticity. His message centered around hard work, clean living, and achieving peak aesthetics without relying on performance-enhancing drugs. But as time went on, Alex's image began to change. His decisions, public controversies, and shifting messages turned what was once a powerful personal brand into a case study of how quickly fame, reputation, and trust can collapse in the age of social media. This video explores how Alex Eubank built his brand from the ground up and how a combination of controversial choices, public vulnerability, and audience backlash ultimately led to what many consider the downfall of his online career. Alex Eubank began uploading videos to YouTube around 2015, sharing his workouts, his training philosophy, and his daily lifestyle. At the time, the fitness scene was dominated by athletes and influencers who used enhanced physiques to gain views. Alex stood out because his message was simple and relatable. He claimed to be natty, meaning he did not use steroids or other performance-enhancing substances. His physique, lean yet aesthetic, inspired countless fans who believed he represented what was possible naturally through discipline and patience. As his channel grew, so did his influence. By 2021 and 2022, Alex had become one of the biggest names in the natural bodybuilding community. His combination of charisma, physique, and dedication to content consistency earned him millions of followers across platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Collaborations with major fitness creators such as David Lade, Bradley Martin, and others propelled his brand even further. His lifestyle appeared to embody balance, fitness, mental discipline, spirituality, and clean living. Alex didn't just post workouts, he built a story around his identity. His video editing was cinematic, his posts carried motivational messages, and his personal brand, Elysium Athletics, reflected his broader vision of self-improvement and purpose-driven fitness. His authenticity became a key part of his appeal. People believed in his message because it stood in contrast to the secretive world of enhanced bodybuilding. For many, Eubank represented the voice of honesty in an industry built on illusions. The first major turning point in Alex Eubank's career came in late 2024 when he made a surprising announcement. In a YouTube video, he revealed that he had started testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, explaining that his natural testosterone levels had fallen to around 350 nanograms per deciliter. He mentioned feeling constant fatigue, low motivation, and sleep issues, all of which he claimed were symptoms of clinical low testosterone. For Alex, it was a personal decision made for health reasons, but for his audience, it was something entirely different. TRT meant one thing: he was no longer natty. The label that defined his entire brand, the reason so many people followed him, was suddenly called into question. The reaction was swift and polarizing. Many longtime supporters voiced disappointment, feeling betrayed by someone they saw as a symbol of natural fitness. Critics accused him of hypocrisy, pointing out that he had built a career and a clothing brand around natural bodybuilding while secretly planning to transition to TRT. Online discussions erupted across Reddit, TikTok, and YouTube comment sections, where fans debated whether his reasons were legitimate or just another case of an influencer breaking the very values they preached. Alex defended his decision publicly, saying TRT was a necessary medical treatment, not a shortcut to enhance physique. He made it clear he wasn't looking to compete with enhanced bodybuilders or gain unfair advantages. Yet, no matter how rational his explanation seemed, his reputation suffered immensely. In fitness culture, authenticity is currency, and the audience felt that currency had been spent. Mental health and authentic vulnerability. Following the backlash, Eubank began focusing more on his personal life and mental health. He spoke openly about his experiences with depression, anxiety, and the intense loneliness that followed his growing fame. He revealed in several videos that he had struggled with suicidal thoughts, describing the dark side of being under constant scrutiny. These confessions were raw and emotional, and for some fans, they reinforced his humanity. However, not everyone saw it that way. Others argued that these moments of vulnerability came across as inconsistent with his previous image of discipline and mental toughness. His newfound openness, while admirable, also blurred the lines between genuine self-expression and performative content. The contrast between promoting a flawless aesthetic lifestyle and revealing brokenness behind the camera made some viewers question what was real and what was content strategy. His increasing references to religion added another layer of complexity. He often spoke about faith in God, spirituality, and redemption, signaling a phase of personal transformation. Yet to some, this shift felt sudden and inconsistent with the brand they had followed for years. The balance between authenticity and perceived inconsistency became a defining struggle in the next phase of his career. As time went on, small contradictions continued to tarnish Eubank's image. Fans began pointing out instances where his actions didn't align with his message. He had criticized influencer marketing and supplement companies early on, but later promoted the same types of products he once mocked. He had warned viewers against depending on enhancements, only to take a medication many saw as bordering on enhancement. His openness about his relationships also became a recurring topic. While transparency had once been part of his brand, constant public discussions about personal affairs, romantic relationships, and internal conflicts began to feel less motivational and more tabloid-like. By this stage, many followers no longer viewed him as an inspirational figure, but rather as someone struggling to sustain relevance through personal exposure. What once felt authentic began to feel repetitive and inconsistent. Eubank's storytelling shifted away from training and motivation toward apology videos, emotional reflections, and explanations of his character. The once clean, motivational image had become entangled in self-defense and controversy. Relevance. After his TRT admission and a string of polarizing uploads, metrics began to show the decline. His YouTube views, once regularly in the hundreds of thousands, started dropping sharply. Engagement rates slowed, and many former subscribers quietly drifted away. The energy that had once fueled his empire of influence began to fade. Collaborations became less frequent, sponsorships less visible, and his clothing brand struggled to maintain momentum amid the controversy. Eubank's online presence, once a hub for inspiration and positivity, now revolved heavily around damage control. Some fans still supported him, appreciating his honesty and religious growth, but many others felt disconnected from the original identity that had first drawn them in. This decline was not just about TRT, but about trust. Over years, Eubank had built his brand on an unshakable message of natural greatness, and once that foundation cracked, the followers who built him up turned skeptical. In the influencer world, trust is everything. When that trust erodes, so does influence. By 2025, Alex Eubank's position in the fitness community looked drastically different from just a few years before. His name still carried recognition, but the aura of respect and inspiration that once surrounded it had faded. The combination of controversies, perceived hypocrisy, and an oversaturated online presence led to a clear decline in both viewership and cultural relevance. Some still argue that Eubank's mistakes stemmed from human imperfection, that he simply evolved and adapted to new realities. Others see his downfall as self-inflicted, a result of chasing relevance and underestimating how deeply audiences value consistency. What once made him special, his message of natural achievement, had been undone by the very transparency that once set him apart. Ironically, Eubank's downfall may also represent the darker truth about influencer culture itself. Audiences claim to value honesty, but they often punish those who deviate from the ideal version of authenticity they once presented. In Alex's case, being honest about TRT and mental struggles might have been genuine, but it collided with the expectations of a public that wanted him to remain perfect and unchanging.